Hey guys, Darth Clark here, back with part 4, I think. Part 4? I literally just looked. Part 4 of our Highway Blossoms playthrough. So, last time, we, what the heck happened last time? It wasn't Shiprock. Oh yeah, we made it to the Indian ruins, and we were super secretly, stealthily looking at, trying to find the treasure. We had no luck. Now, we did end up figuring out where we have an idea where it might be. Our new lead could possibly be, the treasure could be in Arches National Park. But we decided to make a quick little detour to the Grand Canyon, even though it is the other direction. You know, Amber wanted to make Marina happy, and what's wrong with that? So here we are. Anyway, first of all, happy Monday. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. And we are back, and yeah, and happy to be recording. So let's get on it, shall we? All right. So, yeah, I don't think otherwise I have any announcements. Yeah. All right. Anyway, for having been mostly asleep and in the dark, it looks like I did an okay job parking. By which I mean that we're actually in one of the designated camping spaces. That's more than I could say for a lot of the others here. Tents cover nearly every patch of land that doesn't have an RV on it. Some even come right up against the road itself, causing a few cars that pass by to have to hug the edge. Just like back in Shiprock, this is a fiasco. Squads of little kids rampage around, squirting each other and everyone else with water guns and just being in the way. One little brat runs up to us and holds up his squirt gun like he's gonna shoot me, but the death glare that I give sends him running back in the other direction. Yeah, you can tell that Amber is not much of a kid person, as you can tell. Anyway.
Not a fan of kids?
Yeah, there you go, see?
Not the rotten ones.
So, you know, no, not really. Marina, on the other hand, waves at the retreating boy and giggles at as a weak burst of water hits her.
I don't know how you can stand it.
They're just kids. Besides, I'm pretty used to it.
Well, I guess that's true, right? Because Marina said that she's one of 9 kids in her family, so she's, like, kind of used to, you know, the chaos that kids tend to bring when there's more than one of them around, and even then. But obviously Amber was an only child, so obviously she's not used to that.
Big family, right?
Yep.
We start to walk in the direction of the canyon itself, pausing sometimes to let cars or tour groups pass us by.
This is such a mess. Wonder how many of them are treasure hunters.
Well, it's the Grand Canyon, so a lot of people are probably just regular tourists, right?
Yeah, probably. I feel bad for them. And all the other people who just want to enjoy these parks.
You really hate people, huh?
What? Where'd that come from?
I don't know. You're just always complaining about there being too many people around.
Do I really complain that much? Thinking about it, I guess I do.
I don't hate people. I just don't like when it's all chaotic like this.
I get that, Amber. You hate people, so do I. We're 2 peas in a little cynical pod.
So you don't like crowds then?
That's closer, yeah.
I get that too. I don't like crowds.
Kinda weird that you're so hyped for this music thing then, don't you think? Isn't that gonna be the biggest crowd yet?
Sure, but that's different.
Why?
I don't know. Just is.
It's because maybe everyone's there for the music and to have a good time, whereas, like, I don't know, like here, it's just kind of chaos. Everyone's here for their own rando purposes. Maybe that's related, I don't know.
Why?
What are you, 5? No wonder you get along with kids so well.
We both laugh.
But I guess it's just because everyone is there for the same thing.
Ha!
You have something in common with them.
What did I just say?
Isn't everyone here for the same thing?
Yeah, but...
I struggle to find an explanation. But she laughs it off and shrugs.
I'm just kidding anyway. You can't be the only one who teases. You don't like big crowds, and that's fine.
What about you?
I think it's fun. And besides, you get to meet all sorts of cool people. Who knows? Maybe you'll meet a special someone or a long-lost relative or something.
Special someone, huh?
Maybe. Would be pretty unlikely, though.
Probably. But it's still fun to think about. And speaking of odds, Amber,
Marina points at another cluster of motorhomes down the road. I follow her gaze, immediately understanding. Taking up 2 spaces because of size and bad parking is a familiar titan of an RV.
God, no.
This sounds so sad. Like, no, please. Anything but them. But Marina's already heading towards it. My nemesis. Mariah's motorhome. I almost said the doctor. The door flies open seconds before Marina reaches it. Out strolls Joseph, Tess close behind.
You call that a break? You've had boyfriends that last longer.
Sis has never had a boyfriend.
My point exactly.
Quit your moaning. You two just need more work ether.
You mean ethics, but you've probably never heard the word.
Got him. Mariah appears in the doorway, leaning on a shovel. I can see her about to retort, but then she spots either me or Mariah, and her glare is replaced with a smug grin.
Well, well, well. Look who finally caught up.
Hey guys!
Oh, hey there, ladies.
I sigh and speed up my glacial pace. May as well get this over with. Mariah picks up a crate of tools from beside her and carries them out before shoving the crate into Joseph's hands. His knees buckle at the weight and he sets it on the ground.
Did you follow our dust all the way here?
I wish we'd seen it so we could have stayed away.
Got him.
Maybe you should go now and get a head start on the next piece before we find the one here.
She clutches her shovel like a sword and points it at me.
Unless you're gonna fight us for this one too.
I raise my hands and surrender.
We already had one bust at Canyon Duché. This one's all yours to screw up.
Ha! The shovel drops a couple inches, either as a response or because her arm's getting sore.
Canyon Duché? But there's only one Grand Canyon.
There's more than one canyon in the world, Mayor.
Got him.
Figured it was there at the Mummy Cave ruins, but we didn't find anything. So if you want to search all 2,000 miles of the Grand Canyon, then good luck.
Damn it!
Mariah throws down her hands and the tool bag slips from her, plummeting onto Joseph's foot. Hard. The crates in his hand are the next to fall, this time on the other foot. The boxes burst open, flooding the ground with heavy hammers and wrenches. A gasp escapes from his mouth, then silence.
Are you gonna get drunk and cry yourself to sleep again, sis?
Oh! Somehow, through pained grunts, Joseph manages to speak.
The limit is once per week.
Mariah's eyes twitch. In one smooth motion, she whirls around and clonks her companions' heads, huffs, and crosses her arms. Joseph reacts like any normal human being, and rubs his head to soothe his never-ending pain. Tess hardly acknowledges it, wobbling back and forth like a human bobblehead. I don't think I'll ever get over how creepy that girl is. I like her. She's so cute. She clonks Joseph again for good measure. Marina and I both wince. I imagine this is how it was for Howard when he first met Linda.
At least we get to see the canyon that way.
Jesus!
From out of nowhere, Tess pops up at my side.
Tess has been wanting to go out and see the sights, but Mariah's too busy breaking her back for that.
Big sisters are bossy, huh?
Tess nods, which prompts Marina to stoop down and hug her apathetic kindred spirit.
You're not alone.
Marina looks up at me, eyes big.
Can we keep her?
She's so cute.
She is so cute.
That's property theft.
Sorry, only one stray at a time.
Aww.
Marina releases Tess and reaches out her hand as they float apart.
Anyway, let's get going. If they're gonna waste all day here, we can at least leave them to it.
But Mariah waves her shovel in Joseph's face.
Pick up our crap. We gotta rethink our strategy.
Crap?
Yes. This crap.
She taps the crate that she forced on him just minutes ago. Joseph covers Tess's ears, then mutters something that I can't make out.
Wait, I have an idea.
4 pairs of eyes turn to look at her.
Me and Amber were about to go sightseeing. Why don't you guys come with us?
That's a terrible idea.
Hey, we agree on something.
But Tess's eyes sparkle with determination, nodding as she reaches up to tug on Mariah's suit.
That's 1 vote yes.
She turns to me, pleading look in her eyes, hoping to make it 2 votes yes. 2 yes
I think that
votes.
sounds like a good time too.
2 yes votes, sorry.
It'd be a nice break.
I forbid it. You've already had a break. You have too much to focus on. Getting distracted by dusty old rocks is the last thing we need.
You always say that, but look at her.
He points at Tess, her eyes shining with interest since the word sightseeing.
When did she last show interest in something? Hell, has she ever shown interest in something?
We're still not going.
An irritable groan rumbles through Joseph's throat, but he still looks as casual and relaxed as he usually does.
Look, we're not always going to do what you want just because you say so. We're going, and if we have to, we'll force you to come along.
Marina laughs awkwardly.
It's fine, it's fine. You guys don't have to come if you don't want to.
It's funny, I was having this mental debate of Marina or Mariah. I was like, no, it's Marina. But it's too late for that. Mariah lets out a single disingenuous ha and marches to Joseph.
You're gonna force me to go, huh?
That's right.
She stares him down, or up to be accurate. The top of her head only reaches up to his chin. Regardless, she gives him a nasty grin and repeatedly pokes his chest for daring to defy her. This doesn't seem to faze him though, as his lips curl up in an ominous smile.
And how exactly do you plan to do that?
So you probably don't want to see, you are way smaller than him. Vast and majestic, the canyon dominates the horizon as far as my eyes can see. Calico rocks are given a murky tint by the dying sunlight. Obviously, she lost her little, we're not sightseeing thing. It's a breathtaking view. I just stare out over the abyss, watching as the sun slowly climbs down the sky.
What are you even looking at?
It's like, come on, look at all of it. It's so big and pretty. She says it flatly, not like a question. Mariah's been this way for hours now, since Joseph practically dragged her out of the RV. While the other three have amused themselves with disposable cameras and curiosity, Mariah's tailed me like a mangy dog. She won't let me forget about her relentless apathy, punctuating it with frequent sighs.
I'm looking at the cliffs, and considering sending you to get a closer look at the bottom.
This is your fault, you know.
What is?
That we're here, or at least that I'm here.
Hey, I didn't want you along either. That was all Marina.
Just tell that airhead no sometime. Guessing you've never turned down a request of hers in your life.
I shoot her a dirty look at the word airhead. Mariah, not Marina, it's so hard to see it, especially when you're like dyslexic like me, it's so rough. Mariah rolls her eyes, she doesn't care one bit.
She wanted to play with Tess. Someone has to.
Joe does it all the time.
Her ability to miss the point is actually kind of impressive.
Besides, you should see the look I get if I try to stop her from something. Maybe I can't say no.
Be more like me. Mental fortitude and training.
Oh god. Yeah, that's it, for sure.
It's almost breaking down when someone threatens to take away the key to your liquor cabinet, part of that
Mental fortitude and training.
Oh, bird! She clicks her tongue in annoyance and grumbles.
I could have still said no. I was just doing it for Tess.
Clearly. I turned my attention over to the impromptu photo shoot again. Both the girls climb on the rocks and lean against the railings to take pictures. Joseph trails close behind, probably to make sure nobody slips. Sometimes he pulls in for a picture too. This time it actually was Marina. Marina takes pictures of just about everything. The sky, the ground, a pouting Mariah. As a photographer, she's not very picky. Tess, on the other hand, seems to have an actual knack for it. She's taken pictures of scenic valleys and close-ups of beautiful desert flowers in full bloom, usually with Joseph as the model. She even manages to get close enough to take one of an eagle perched on a rock. Not hard when you're practically invisible, though.
I don't even know why she's so interested in this stuff.
What? The wonder and majesty of naturally formed geographic wonders?
That's a fancy way of saying overgrown rocks.
Who cares? Shouldn't you be glad that she is?
Why? I'd prefer if she cared about something that matters.
Like getting rich?
Exactly. It's Americana this, sightseeing that. What the hell even is Americana? Don't mess with Texas shirts and old rocking chairs that some hicks farted on.
Do you ever listen to yourself talk? Just be happy she's interested in culture and expanding her horizons.
That's more than I can say for everyone in her family.
Culture? Our favorite foods are bastardized versions of foreign cuisine. Culture's a sham. When I was her age, I was interested in things that actually mattered. Like treasure.
Years later, and nothing's changed.
Indeed. Since the other girls are taking a break, Joseph has joined us.
They want to take some pictures with you.
Mariah starts to protest, but Joseph cuts her off.
Your sister wanted me to ask.
He's like, believe me, I didn't say anything. Her mouth shuts and she rolls her eyes yet again.
Fine.
She starts over to where they are, kicking up clouds of dust with each heavy step.
Sorry if she's causing you trouble.
She is.
She can be a bit of a handful.
She is.
I know it's hard to believe, but there's a good heart in there. Somewhere.
Ah, well, you know what they say, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Isn't that applicable? Being like, obviously, he thinks there's something good in there because they've been like together for so long. Not like together, but like, you know, with each other, like family type of deal. And that's why he thinks that she's something special, and that's why Amber doesn't. You know what I mean? I think it worked. I think that was pretty on point. Unless, of course, I'm wrong, in which case I'd look like an idiot. Whatever. Moving on.
She'd probably sell it for $1 if she could.
Too real. Joseph laughs heartily.
You might be right. That's just how she is, I guess. Been that way since we were kids.
It's hard to imagine that someone could not only know Mariah as a child, but want to maintain a friendship with her for the rest of their lives. Come to think of it, Joseph's a bit of an odd case compared to the other two. Odd just because he's so normal.
Hey, can I ask you something?
But she actually brings up a great point. That is kind of odd. He's so much more adjusted.
Shoot.
Do you care about the treasure?
He scratches the stubble on his chin and thinks about it.
Like, you have a good head on your shoulders. Why do you let her drag you around?
Well, it's not that I don't care about the treasure. Being rich doesn't sound like a bad gig at all. But I wouldn't say I have a good head on my shoulders either. If it came down to treasure hunting or kicking back on a couch all day, I'd pick the couch.
Hey, Matt kind of man.
Figures.
He finds joy in the simple things. His own broad smile returns. I didn't even notice it disappear.
But as for them, one of them needs someone to look out for her, and the other is 10.
Oh! Now we both laugh.
She's the one who gets me off the couch. I'm the one who gets her to sit down sometimes. Even back in school, she was always picking fights. Didn't matter if it was another kid or a teacher. Got her ass kicked a couple times. If she were all on her own, she'd tear apart the whole Southwest. That make sense?
I look over at where the three of them are still taking pictures. Tess is standing on a rock so that she's at the same level as the others. Right now, two of her fingers hold Mariah's mouth into the shape of a smile. On Mariah's other side, Marina holds the camera out and takes her picture. Then Tess takes one, though Marina keeps her hand out of Mariah's mouth.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
She's like, I get that.
Plus, someone's got to make sure Tess doesn't starve.
You know, and that's actually true, though, because she's doing, like, something very similar for Marina. You know what I mean? That she would probably be much quicker to, like, you know, leave her if Marina, like, wasn't, I don't want to say helpless, but she kind of has that, like, I don't want to say airhead either, because that sounds like mean, but she's very young, and she doesn't have a lot of world experience, and obviously Amber does, and so, and she's, I don't know, they're much different personality types, and maybe even maturity levels, and so obviously Amber does the same thing that Joe does for, you know, for Mariah, so, you know, I bet they can kind of relate on that level. Catching us watching, Marina waves vigorously. She nearly knocks Mariah's lights out. While she does, I wave back. Tess says something that gets Marina's attention, and after a second, Marina hurries over. I wince as I watch her clumsily climb over the rock, scared that she's gonna slip and hurt herself. But she arrives unharmed.
Tess wanted me to ask if you'd go be in the pictures too, Joe. She says she wants all three of you.
Looks like that's my cue.
With nothing more to say, he drifts over to the others and exchanges spots with Marina. Tess passes him the camera, and he holds it up to his eye.
Why are you using this cheap thing anyway? The camera on Mariah's phone is way better.
He takes the camera from Tess and dangles it from his fingers, observing it like an ancient, long-buried artifact.
The memory is full from all her journal entries.
Journal?
It's more like angsty poetry.
Mariah, yeah, that one is Mariah. Mariah turns towards me, panic and fury in her eyes, but she's too slow.
one go again? Oh yeah. Rivers of amber pour from my bottle like tears, forever sweeping El Dorado beyond my grasp.
Oh, God. Mariah slouches.
I hate you both.
Aw, but we love you, Mariah.
Tess clings to her sister's waist like a magnet, showing her affection. It goes ignored.
Now squeeze in. I'm not sure how we're all gonna fit.
We pause for a moment before I tap Marina on the shoulder. That should keep him busy for a while.
Quick, while they're distracted.
What?
I grab Marina's hand and dash off, dragging her behind me. Her feet have trouble keeping up, but I don't slow down, and I don't look back.
Just keep running.
Amber, where are we going?
Make a break for it! Run! We wander around for a while until we find another viewpoint that's empty of other people. I'm guessing that's a lot of the treasure hunters are out looking now, since the oppressive heat isn't as bad. I lean against the rail, my head propped up on my arms. The cool metal feels nice against my skin. Marina does the same. She sighs wistfully.
So pretty.
I've been to the Grand Canyon once in my life, I think, and I was so little I don't remember anything about it. The only thing I remember is actually something is just like this. It's like this railing back here. This is the only part I remember of, like, I think one of my sisters or something was like near the railing, and all I could remember thinking was like, oh my gosh, this is so dangerous. What happens if they fall? Like, that's all I kept thinking at the time. It's literally the only part of it I remember. I only remember a railing that looks pretty much just like this, and I remember one of my sisters, or maybe it's a cousin or something, being against the railing and thinking, oh my gosh, that's so dangerous, what happens if they fall? That's it. That's the only part of the Grand Canyon I remember. I really need to go back, like, as an adult and, like, take pictures and stuff, like a proper tourist.
Which part?
All of it, especially the sunset.
Nearly all of the sunlight has been swallowed by the canyon's colossal darkness. Shadows cast by the stones mute the gorgeous colors as the sun melts into the tip of the canyon. It's barren and desolate, but Marina's right, it's pretty.
Oh, let's take a picture before it gets too dark. You're not getting out of this one. You haven't been in any of the pictures today.
Yeah, that's on purpose.
Scooch in.
She's camera shy.
Like, together?
She's also super, super attracted to you, by the way.
Duh.
She's like, yeah, how else am I gonna get this picture? Do you see 3 people here? She slides towards me and I squirm away on instinct.
What's wrong?
Immediately, before I can answer, she grins slyly.
Wait a second.
Wait for it, there it is.
You're camera shy, aren't you?
I know people like that they just hate being in pictures. They're just like, I don't like being in pictures. And we're like, freaking why? Like, you take great pictures.
I'm not.
I retort a little too quickly.
Oh?
Methinks thou protest too much. Clearly, she doesn't believe me.
It's not that I'm afraid of them or anything. I just don't like having my picture taken.
How come?
I shrug.
Just don't.
Well, you'll have to deal with it this time.
She zips over and before I can react, has pressed her cheek to mine. The shutter clicks and I'm momentarily stunned by the flash. Before I can protest or enjoy the closeness, she's already pulled away and is checking the results.
It's cute, look!
She shoves the camera into my face, but it's so close and the screen is so small that I can't actually see the picture. I just nod.
I can't wait to get these developed.
Turning to me, Marina pauses.
How do you get photos developed anyway?
In this day and age, I don't know. That's a great question. I remember that my mom is super into picture taking, and she has a lot of pictures, and back in the day, obviously, you would, you were constantly developing film because as you took a picture, obviously, eventually your film is full and you need to get it developed, right? Well, back in the day, you could just go to Walmart or whatever. I don't know if Walmart still even does that, and part of me would be surprised, but I don't know. I don't know how you get those developed anymore.
We'll have to take them to the store and have them do it. Most big supermarkets can.
Okay, first thing tomorrow then.
Sure.
Like a hummingbird, Marina darts forward and gives me a tight hug.
Thanks for coming out here. It's been so amazing. I hope it was worth it.
I look down at her, pressed against me.
Yeah, it was.
Marina pulls away to my great disappointment. She opens her mouth like she's gonna say something, but then seems to change her mind.
What?
What?
You were about to say something? What was it?
Oh, never mind.
Hey, you can't do that. Now I really want to know.
She giggles, but it's distracted sounding.
Okay, fine. I was just gonna ask, why is it that you hate Mariah and her group so much?
Because Mariah's a punk and the other two are fine.
Where'd that come from?
Marina, I almost said Mariah. It's never ending, man. Marina turns away and stares out over the canyon again. It's getting pretty dark. She's quiet for a moment before she talks.
I don't know. You just complain about them a lot.
I don't hate them, dummy. Joe and Tess are fine. It's just Mariah that I have a problem with.
To be fair, who doesn't except for Joe and Tess?
How come?
She's a bitch. Loud and rude and obnoxious. Ugh, I really hate people like that.
Yeah, I like that. She just calls it how she sees it. You're like, exactly.
She thinks she is always right, too.
Sounds like someone else I know.
Oh, come on. Amber is not like that. She's not nearly as like... It's like if Amber was dialed up to like a 15 and like if you like, I don't know, amplified any bad trait that Amber might have, that's Marina. Or Mariah. But, darn it, I can never get those right. But yeah, that's so not true.
Ah, don't give me that. We're nothing alike.
You have some similarities, but you're like a way better version and a more adjusted version of her, okay? You're better in every way. Don't worry about it. Marina laughs.
Yeah.
Half a minute passes in silence.
You're way cuter than she is.
Oh! Bet you didn't expect that coming. Time stops, and so does my heart. Everything feels like it's frozen. I look over at Marina, but she's looking at the canyon, not me. Still just a couple inches away, or not still, like comma, still just a couple inches away. I gulp, swallowing the lump forming in my throat.
You said that before, I think. You're cuter.
Oh, hush. I'm trying to compliment you.
I fall silent for a moment, not sure of how to respond.
You know, back when we first met, I meant what I said about you being cute, too.
Oh! Is she making her move? Gasp! She giggles again.
I'd forgotten about that.
As if on cue, a light breeze starts up, causing her hair to billow out like a cloud. Her side tail, hastily bound, looks as if it might come undone. It's hard to think that that's on the side, though. That looks like a straight, normal ponytail. I mean, like, it kind of does. Like, it kind of looks like it's on the side, but I don't know. It's like with the way that this, like, her, like, actual image is drawn, that looks like a ponytail, and she's, like, turned partially to the side so that it's actually in the back, but it looks like it's on the side. Maybe it's a little thing, but I was thinking that my very first time playing through this game, too, being like, that doesn't look like it's on the side. That looks like it's in the back with her head turned to the side, but whatever. Anyway, finally she turns to look at me, her eyes wide and lips glistening. My palms are dry and my knees tremble. Oh, you should have said my palms are sweaty, and my knees weak and my arms are heavy. First thing I thought of when she's like, my palms are dry and my knees tremble, I was like, oh man, now someone has to make this reference, otherwise no one will. Gulping yet again, I cross a short distance between us in a half step, leaning in and...
There you are!
Darn it, Mariah! You ruined the moment! Someone's about to die. And Amber's gonna do us all a favor. She was like, I was this close! Mariah's shrill voice cuts through the moment, rupturing my eardrums and patience. I pull away and Marina's already turned around to face him. The trio, not the T-O, I don't even know what that is. The trio appear like specters out of the darkness.
You left us behind!
Man, Amber's like, you idiot, I was so close, you don't even know.
We tried to, at least.
Not successfully.
You were the ones who dragged us out here. I at least expect you to stick around.
Cowed into submission, Marina's shoulders fall.
Back off. I wanted to go see the sunset without you sighing about it.
Whatever. It was a waste of time either way. Come on, we're going back.
Mariah lopes down the path at a brisk pace. Marina and Tess are back to photographing anything and everything, though the low light means that the pictures won't show up. Joseph and I trail behind at the end of the party.
How was the sunset?
She's like, too short! Too freaking short! Sighing, I pull ahead. Right now, even Joseph seems a little too much.
It was okay.
She's like, yeah, it was too freaking short. I was so close. Me and Marina were having a moment, and she had to come in and ruin it. Darn it. Anyway, the campsite has cleaned up a lot since we set out this morning. It's still pretty full, but at least it's not claustrophobic anymore. A few campfires illuminate people that are left behind, plus the smoke keeps the bugs away. All 5 of us huddle outside my RV. The goodbyes are taking a while since Marina has to hug everyone at least twice. Then she says something to reignite the conversation, and the whole process starts over. That is like every time my family's together. Not just like my immediate family, although in some cases that's true too, but like more when all of my extended family's over. Like the goodbyes are like an hour process of someone's been like, all right, well we gotta go, all right, well we gotta go, like, and everyone starts talking again. That's been my goodbyes in my extended family for like as long as I've known them. It's just, I don't know, it's just something that's always a thing. Finally, I grab the door handle to signal that we're about done. Marina automatically begins the final round of hugs.
So, what's next for you guys?
Maybe not.
Back to poring over the journal to see what we can find. Once we locate it, it's straight off to wherever.
Joseph heaves a heavy sigh.
No rest for the weary.
You don't get weary, Slacker. You get motivated.
I disagree. You always get weary.
Oh, you should put that on a shirt.
Would you buy one?
Nobody would.
Got him.
Then no.
All of us, even Mariah, laugh a little. Or maybe that's too much emphasis. Laugh a little. There you go. That's probably better. Anyway, finally, Joseph puts his arm around Tess and starts to lead them away.
We'll get out of your hair for the night.
I almost said starting. Well, that's because it's what it is. Starting down the path, they walk towards their motorhome.
Wait a sec.
They freeze. Marina looks at me too, curious.
Next piece is almost definitely at Arches, in Utah.
I hear Marina gasp, though I don't see it. Joseph and Tess, almost said Teth, like with a lisp. Anyway, Joseph and Tess look down to Mariah, their profiles barely visible from the flickering campfires in the distance. Mariah nods stiffly.
Thanks.
It's probably the first time she's ever said that word. With a wave of her hand, she turns and they finally leave. Marina and I both watch until they vanish out of sight, then Marina squeals.
I'm so proud of you, Amber! And shocked! That was super nice of you.
I know, it was way nice of you.
Wasn't much. This one's pretty easy to figure out when you take the time. I'd probably save them half an hour at best.
Well, it depends. I don't know how good they are at figuring things out. I mean, they came to the Grand Canyon assuming that's where it was. I feel like these two are much better at like deciphering this whole thing, so who knows how much time you would have really saved them.
Still, it's the thought that counts. Why'd you do it, though?
Someone's gotta take care of them after all.
I look away, pretending to scratch an itch on my cheek.
They're not that bad.
Aw, she does care. The solemn loneliness of the open road extends far past my headlights and into the dark. A cool wind breezes through the cracked window and tosses around our hair as a jazzy experimental track cackles through the speakers. With each horn screech, Marina sinks further into her seat. She looks miserable.
Do you want me to turn down the music a little?
No, I'm fine. It's not bothering me.
I know what is bothering you, though. She tries to disguise the glint of agony in her eyes by speaking in her usual peppy tone, but the pain still seeps through the cracks in her voice. A hollowness anchors down my chest. I don't try burying it. The last time someone told me everything was fine, I ended up losing them. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but I don't want to risk it.
Seriously, are you okay?
No, really, I'm fine.
Don't lie to me.
My sharpness takes her off guard, and she shifts her gaze, but I don't care. This could be urgent. Sighing, she hangs her head.
Well...
Yeah?
I kinda need to...
Her voice trails off into a pit. Regret and shame color her face, as if she's brought great shame to her household or something equally dumb. My voice grows tense, urgent, my driving sloppy. Every pore of my clammy palms is stuck to the wheel. The hollowness comes back.
Marina, what is
She's like, say it! I can't take the stress!
I kinda need to... you know...
Marina winces, her mouth stretching into a pallid grimace. She clutches at her stomach and groans. You're kidding. I slap my hand against my forehead. How many more times am I gonna let myself get worked up over something so stupid?
What did I tell you about that burrito?
I know, but I was so hungry.
You never trust gas station burritos, Mare. That's one of the first rules of the road.
There's a few things on the road you never ever trust. They're just, you're probably gonna get killed if you try it. It's not good for you. I mean, it's not only not good for you in like a don't eat junk food sort of way, but like, you know, you could like, I don't know, get some sort of virus and die type of not good for you.
I didn't think it would end up like this. I didn't know.
A flood is starting to form in her eyes. Whether it's because of the pain or my scolding, I'm not sure. Hopefully it's both, and she takes this opportunity to learn something.
Well, you're gonna have to deal with it for now. The septic tank needs to be drained, and I can't do that until we get to Arches.
What?
Despair sets in, and the hopelessness of the situation dawns on her.
I'll stop if we pass a gas station or something, but that's not gonna be for a while.
Despair turns into desperation. Marina frantically looks for anything to latch onto, anything to help her reclaim her hope.
What about a rest stop?
You serious?
Sure, why not? I saw a sign for one down the road. Should be coming up pretty quick.
No.
What? And why not?
Okay, so before we get to this is actually one part that's kind of like that I don't get. Obviously, it's part of the story, so it's not like it's a big deal or anything. But so she has this weird giant prejudice against rest stops, and it's so weird because I've been on a fair amount of road trips, and my dad, like I said, my dad was like a truck driver for like 10 years or something, and I went with him a lot. And rest stops are fine, so it's just weird. I mean, like, you know, they're fine when you're dying, all right? Like, they do their job, okay? It's not like you're walking into the Ritz or anything, but at the same time, you're only there when you need to be. And in some states, rest stops are kind of nice. Like, depending on what state you're in, some states you go into, it's just like, you know, they are really not good. But some states that you go to, that they're actually kind of nice. They're like maintained, and it depends. But so this is kind of a weird part that I guess I don't get. But she has this weird prejudice against rest stops. You'll see.
Because you're better than that.
No, I'm not, I swear. Please, I really gotta go.
Because you're better than that. No, I'm not. I swear.
Rest stops aren't for people like us. They're for people like Mariah. Only the scum of the earth use.
See what I mean? Like this weird prejudice against rest stops. Rest stops are fine. At least that's what Gramps used to say. I've never actually been to one, most likely because he refused to use them, but if a people-loving hippie like Gramps referred to them as cesspools of villainy where the seedy underbelly of humanity flocks, then I'm not sure I want to.
Amber.
Her voice deepens, straining as she enunciates every single word.
I don't care if it makes me scum. If we don't stop now, I'm going to explode.
I wave her off, but before I can counterattack, she dives in an inch from my face.
Explode, Amber!
She's so adorable, no matter what she's saying. It's just, explode, Amber! You're like, you're too cute. I can't stop. Help. Someone said help.
We're going to that rest stop whether you like it or not. Do you hear me?
She's like, if I have to bail out of this moving RV, I'll do it. I gulp and reply with a shaky nod as Marina looks on with crazed eyes. I never knew she could be so scary. She backs off and the usual pluck in her voice returns, flipping from sour to sweet in an instant.
Thank you.
Defeated and mildly disturbed, I jitter my eyes back and forth and wait for the exit. Who knows, maybe it's not so bad. Wouldn't be the first time Gramps over-exaggerated. I'm 90% sure he was wrong about the government introducing the plague to local rat populations. Oh my god. He's like a crazy conspiracy theory, like, road hippie. I pull over to an isolated exit ramp which trails off into a dark lot. The lonely island is lit by a sharp light emanating from a shack at the edge of the lot. It brightens up the immediate area, and the surrounding terrain falls off into a dim glow. Despite the eerie darkness, we're not alone. A lone big rig with a half-assed parking job hulks over the lot. In that truck driver's defense, like, rest stops, especially at night, are very empty places, and rest stops are super common for truckers to park, because they have, like, every rest stop I've ever seen has truck parking, and truck drivers often, because of the way their hours work and things, they have to stop, like sometimes they have to stop, and it's sometimes illegal and sometimes just safer to actually have a designated truck parking, and the way their hours work, they have to stop after a certain number of hours and all these other rules and stuff. But yeah, they're not bad. This whole thing is blown out of proportion, all right? Some of them are kind of gross, but they're not like, you know, I've never heard of anyone like getting like whatever, like killed in a rest stop or anything. Must have been in a rush. Rolling my eyes, I squeeze into a parking space that isn't being hogged by the trailer. I cut the ignition and in the ensuing silence, scan the shadowed area for anything unusual. As I watch, a silhouette emerges from a door framed by the light from within. But before I can warn her, Marina springs from the motorhome to run for the shack.
Hey, wait! It's not safe!
Without pulling the key from the dash, I launch out the door and after Marina. Okay, two things about this part. First of all, that was a really stupid thing. Who the heck doesn't have time to grab your keys from the ignition? So that was a pretty dumb plan. Second thing is this part's actually really funny. It's pretty funny because just the way how just how eye-rolly it gets, you'll see. Why the hell do we always end up running? The figure towers in the entranceway. Kicking up gravel, I screech to a standstill right behind Marina. Marina keeps jogging in place, unable to distract herself from the inevitable any other way. As my eyes adjust, his features materialize. He stares at us for an uncomfortable period of time, the bill of his unwashed baseball cap masking his eyebrows, making his stoic expression even harder to read.
The women's bathroom is closed.
Okay, two things before we launch into this. First of all, this is such a stupid stereotype that's not accurate, all right? Listen to the words I'm saying. Not accurate. Like, truck drivers are like, I mean, sometimes too many years on the road can make them a little socially awkward, but only a little bit, all right? Like, mostly they're pretty normal. Mostly they're pretty adjusted people. They often are kind of hermit-like because they only really like associating with other truck drivers, and they drive and they're alone a lot of the time. So, you know, but I'm just saying that this is such a stereotype that's not true. I just wanted to dispel any myths about that, okay? Second thing, this guy is the most eye-rolly thing you've ever heard. After he starts speaking, like, it sounds like he's faking it because he's trying to put on an accent, and it's just it's really funny, and I'm not like knocking it like the game screwed up. It's funny, but it's super eye rolly. It's bad. He points to a paper taped to the door, the words out of order scribbled in marker.
I checked.
His scratchy voice rings with a slight twang. Dried food stains sit splattered on his tank top, his flannel unable to conceal the ripe stench. Again, stereotype, don't ignore it. I have to force myself to not look away.
I can't hold it anymore. What do we do?
Relax. Just use the guys' bathroom.
What? Is that even legal?
Marina's like, she's such a child in some ways. She's so adorable.
Dunno. Probably. Just use it. I'll keep watch.
She's like, I'll watch over this guy. Just go. The man interjects, his eyes still fixated on us.
Don't worry. I wasn't too bad this time. It should be cleared out.
Again, stereotype, ignore it. A disgusted groan slips out of me. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that.
Well, if you say so.
Without a second of hesitation, Marina races past the man and into the restroom. Her voice echoes from within.
Whoa! Is that a trough? I thought they were just a myth.
Oh, God. I look at the man and shrug while awkwardly laughing off Marina's comment. Why is he still here?
So, is that your truck?
I would have taken the awkward silence over any conversation you could start with him. All right, everyone, ready your eye rolls. Buckle up. Ready, everyone, ready. Get your cringes ready, everybody. His serious expression morphs into a wide grin, showing off his sickly yellow teeth, each about as cracked and decaying as the walls. Wiping his nose at the back of his hand, he leans up against an old soda machine.
Why, yes, actually. Yes, it is.
Never ask a trucker about his truck. Most of the time, if they're company drivers, they'll be like, I mean, it is. I have no emotional attachment. And if they're an owner-operator, like the truck is actually theirs, then they might talk about it, but it's just like, you're like, don't get them started if they care, okay? He deepens his voice, letting the tone sway up and down. I can't tell if he's trying to be cool, seductive, charming, or if he just has a case of vertigo. Either way, I don't think it has quite the effect he's going for.
Well, technically, actually, the trailer belongs to the company I work for.
Technically, actually? I've never heard that. I'd never heard that before.
But the truck, that 0 to 60 miles an hour in 10 seconds, that's all me, sweetheart.
Okay, again, 0 to 60 in 10 seconds? Unless it's a drag truck, that is so not possible, okay? Like, most big trucks have 13 gears. 13. Some of them have 18 or 15 or whatever. But most of the ones that I've known about, most like of like the company-owned type of trucks, I think, pretty sure most of them, and just dropped my pen, that's nice. Anyway, most of them are 13 gears, okay? It takes you like, you have to shift like 6 times to make it across an intersection, all right? There's not a snowflake's chance in hell that truck is doing 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. It's not, unless it's a drag truck, and even then, like, that's pretty stinking fast. He looks me straight in the eyes, emphasizing sweetheart, and I struggle to keep down the bile coming up my throat. All right, give me a minute. I gotta pick up my pen. It fell under my desk somewhere. And just like that, we're back. I picked up my pen. It flew very far, considering I barely dropped it.
Oh, that's nice. It's very,
Truck-like. I try to think of a compliment, something that'll take the conversation somewhere else, anywhere but there.
It's very red.
Nailed it.
Red on the outside, sure. But I promise you, that interior is pure white.
Oh, God. He winks. If not for Marina, I would have driven off screaming into the night by now. I'm gonna have to take a shower once we get to Arches.
In fact,
He isn't stopping? Why isn't he stopping?
maybe you and your little friend want to see why they call it mine.
Oh, buckle up, kids. He slams his elbow against the soda machine. Nothing happens. Cursing under his breath, he does it again with more force. This time, a can tumbles down, the momentum sending it rolling out the cache, and across the asphalt.
Pickup truck?
Oh, God. Cringe.
Marina, are you almost done?
I guess she calls Marina. Cringe. Oh, so bad.
Almost!
You were right about the rest stops, Gramps. Why didn't I listen?
So how about it?
How's that for chances, though? The one rest stop they stop at is the one that has some sort of super socially awkward guy. Presented with the option to feign ignorance or bash his head against the wall, I choose to feign ignorance, but only by a smidge. For Marina's sake.
Golly, mister. We really appreciate the offer, but we already have a set of wheels.
There you go. Go for feign ignorance. That's so much safer. Please let that work.
I understand.
Thank God. The trucker sighs and wipes the sweat from his brow.
Besides, I'm pretty busy as is. After I finish this run, I'ma find myself some treasure.
Oh, no.
Treasure?
She's like, bleh.
Yeah, you know, that gold that miner left lying around. It's all over the radio.
I may have heard a thing or two about it.
Great, another weirdo looking for the treasure. Just what we needed.
It's on my route, so I figured why not?
Marina prances out of the bathroom, restored to her old self.
All done. You two have a nice chat?
No, absolutely no. I look at Marina, then the trucker, then to his truck. Yet another despicable idea wriggles into my head. One that goes beyond picking on Mariah and leaving a tour.
You know, we had a really nice talk.
Really?
He's like, we did? It worked? He says it like even he has trouble believing it.
Sure did.
She's like, absolutely. Your social awkwardness is such a turn on, for sure.
In fact, I have to go check on something in the RV real quick. Why don't you take up where I left off and talk with good old... What's your name?
She's like, she just drops her own act. What's your name?
The boys on the road call me Jumbo.
Yes, of course. Naturally. Again, stereotype, okay? Truckers have normal names, alright? None of them have those, like Jumbo, okay? Never heard of that. That's ridiculous.
Jumbo? Like the elephant?
That's Dumbo.
Oh, God.
To Marina's terror, he bears his greasy smile. She backs away and half-shields herself behind me, her voice softening to a whimper.
Amber, I don't think I want to talk to this guy.
She's like, sure you do. I block my lips with my hand, lowering my voice to a whisper.
I know, but just try to keep him distracted. I won't be long.
I'll be right back, you two.
Playing up the act, I skip across the lot and back to the motorhome.
Wait, Amber!
She's like, you're leaving me to die! I fight back the invisible tears. Your sacrifice is for the greater good, Marina. It won't be in vain. I swing open the RV's door and rush to the nearest drawer, rummaging through until I find what I need. Screwdriver. Perfect. Exiting the motorhome, I sneak over to the big rig, tiptoeing so I'm not spotted. The driver's side provides sufficient cover, hiding me from the trucker and Marina. I bend down and take a knee on the gravelly concrete. With the screwdriver in hand, I unscrew the tire's valve stem. Once it's off, I take the screwdriver and insert it into the hole. The air seeps out with a steady hiss as the tire withers. Jumbo and Marina's conversation carries across the lot. Even from here, I can almost feel the spit spray from his mouth as he tries chatting at Marina, with the exact same tactic he used on me.
There is one kink that their truck has, though.
He pauses. He pauses. I cringe, bracing for the incoming punchline.
It has a lot of thrust to it when I use the brakes.
Oh, God. Please, someone let me die. Marina manages to squeeze out a stifled laugh, though it sounds more like uncontrollable sobbing. Yeah, I mean, that would be the normal reaction, right? Like, that would be what I would be doing. Crying uncontrollably, like, please let me die. Jumbo does the same, unleashing his crusty laugh upon the earth. It sounds like he might hack up an ashtray. Yes, of course. Keep the screaming inside, Amber. Resist the urge to repeatedly run him over with the motorhome. I scurry from tire to tire, deflating them until my mission has been accomplished. Sticking the loose caps back in my back pocket, I emerge from the shadows and run back to Marina. Just in time, too.
Marina's a pretty name. It sounds like it could bring flowing water and moisture to anywhere. Even a barren wasteland like this.
Dear Lord.
You know, I have a similar talent.
Oh, God.
Alrighty, I'm back.
Just in
go,
time.
Marina.
Just in time, as it were. I grab her shoulders and push her away from the trucker. My sole focus now is getting us out of here.
But we was having so much fun.
A cold chill shoots up my spine, causing the hairs on the back of my neck to stick up. We walk faster.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jumbo, but we're in a bit of a rush too. We appreciate the conversation, though. Ain't that right, Marina?
She swings her head back and forth, mouthing no over and over.
Well, maybe we'll meet down the road sometime. Then we could have even more fun.
Creepy. He starts laughing again. Our feet move even faster than before. His laughter echoes across the lot and bouncing off the nearby hills, growing louder until it becomes all I can hear.
Run. Don't look back. Just run.
Just run.
I'm trying, Amber.
I push even harder. Our feet finally pick up enough momentum, and we scramble for the motorhome. The cackling now sounds closer than ever. Marina reaches the RV first and leaps inside, immediately twisting to lock the door. I jump in next without bothering to clip in my seatbelt or even check the rear. The engine roars to life, and I slam on the gas pedal, leaving a plume of exhaust behind us as we screech down the road. When I'm sure we're safe, I let out the biggest sigh of my life. Gravity is lighter. The air conditioning is fresher. Life is great. So he's not serial killer. He was just super awkward and super cringy, but he wasn't a serial killer, so I guess that's something. A hard force repeatedly hits my shoulder, shattering my zen-like appreciation of existence.
Stop leaving me with weirdos.
That's true. I forgot that Amber left her with Linda, so, that's rough. Marina swings one last punch. This one hits the hardest.
Jerk.
Sheesh, that hurts.
Good.
She's like, freaking remember
I
it.
might deserve it. Just a little, though.
She's like, good, don't forget it.
You think?
I rub my shoulder, trying to soothe the throbbing. She packs a surprisingly hard punch for such a tiny girl. Marina flings herself back into her seat and pouts.
Why did you even leave anyway?
He said he was after the treasure, so I decided to conduct some secret ops.
Grinning, I dig into my back pocket and pull out the caps. It takes a few seconds for Marina to register what I've done, but once she does, she joins me with a goofy grin of her own.
You're so sneaky, Amber.
I toss the caps out the window and take a sip of my coffee. It's cold now, but drinking it has never felt more satisfying.
But, Amber? Can we never go to a rest stop again?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's so exaggerated. Rest stops are not that bad, I swear. People are like, having a hard time believing you, gonna be honest. I'm having a hard time believing that, but don't worry, it's true. Also, title card. Again, I am assuming that must mark the end of a chapter or something. I really don't know. Anyway, sorry, I had to take a drink. We ended up spending the night in a department store parking lot. There were plenty of rest stops, but those are off the table, permanently. Like usual, I woke up pretty early and got us on the road again. Even after waking up briefly, Marina passed back out until we were already in Moab. Moab's the quintessential outdoorsy town. It's built alongside the Colorado River, winding through a canyon. Every other store sells rafting supplies or hiking gear or camping equipment. That's actually true. That's not an exaggeration. Even some of the houses are made to look like log cabins or other rustic architecture. You can see tall forested mountains from any part of town, but it's not entirely out of the desert either. It's the time of morning when most people are on their way to work. That's a disgustingly large amount of traffic. Well, you see, what's funny is Moab is not that big, so it's not that large, but like considering everything about it is focused on outdoorsy whatnot, hiking and things like that, that there is a surprisingly large amount of traffic in Moab, just comparatively, like when it's busy. Like in the seasons where there's like a lot of hikers and lots of vacationers and stuff like that, then Moab can be kind of packed, so it's less than ideal, and sometimes you can be stuck in traffic a long time, but for the most part, all the times I've been through it, only a few times have I ever been stuck in it. Most of the time you end up like, it's a little slower and everything, but it's totally fine. You breeze through it pretty quick. At a glance, I'd say 3/4 of the people contributing to our glacial pace are prospectors, which means I don't have any room to complain. After watching the next light change 3 times, but still not reaching it myself, I sigh and pull it to a nearby diner. At first, I was just planning to grab some coffee and a bagel and something for when Marina wakes up. But with her trademark perfect timing, I hear her climb out of bed right as I turn off the RV.
We there? Is this Arch's?
No. She stumbles up to the front, still looking mostly asleep. I don't know how she could still be tired. She must have gotten 10 hours.
Close. We're in Moab. Arches is still a few miles up the road.
That's true. Moab, Arches is only, 5 or 10 or 15 miles from Moab. It's not far at all.
Oh. Why'd we stop?
Food.
'Cause I'm hungry. And traffic's practically stalled. It could be lunchtime before we get there.
You were just gonna eat without me?
Even through her grogginess, she sounds shocked and offended.
I was gonna grab you something to go, but I will eat without you if you don't get ready fast.
Meanie.
Yeah. Complain about me once you're dressed.
I can see the start of a smile as she turns back to get ready. I inspect my nails while I wait. A few minutes later, she hops up front like the Easter Bunny, chipper as ever.
It's like your energy is stored in your outfit or something. You get dressed and wake right up.
Marina puts on airs.
I don't know what you mean. I'm always cheerful and alert.
Uh-huh. Did you know that you snore?
Her pretense is dropped in a flash.
Do not.
You do.
I lead the way out of the RV.
Loud. Like an elephant seal.
Oh, God. Marina blusters about for a retort while I wait just by the door laughing. She makes a humph noise as she passes by me, crossing the parking lot. Still, she holds the door for me as we go into the diner. There's a seat yourself sign up near the front, along with a stack of menus. I grab 2 off the top.
Do you need a kid's menu? With the crayons?
I'm just teasing her more, but her face lights up.
Oh, they have those? Yeah, give me one.
She's like, heck yeah, give me those give me those 3 crayons. You know that they always have those. Like, what's funny is every once in a while, like, even as a family, if you're just gonna go to a restaurant, like, you know, it's like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna grab a kids menu and some crayons. Who doesn't like coloring? Who doesn't like coloring? You know what I mean? While you're waiting for food, chatting with your family. Coloring is a universal pastime for everyone, okay? You could be 20 or 30 or 40 or 100 and still be coloring. Everyone loves coloring, all right? Mentally facepalming, I also take a coloring sheet and a cup of crayons. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. I've always like overly underpronounced it, if that makes sense. So like crayons, but you're like crayons. I don't know. We find a booth by the window near the middle of the restaurant between a family of 4 and a couple around our age. It might be the only empty spot in the whole place. While I look over the breakfast specials, Marina eagerly begins to color. She's got a dark green, 2 shades of red, a blue, and a yellow. Wow, they give you so many colors at this restaurant. Like, don't they usually give you like 3, like maybe 5? But I thought it was only 3. Maybe not. Of course, they're worn down to practically round on the bottoms, which makes it hard for her to stay inside the lines. When I shift my legs, I accidentally bump the table with my foot and cause her to make a large green streak across the personified egg she was coloring.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay. What is it they say? There are no mistakes in art, just happy accidents?
Something like that. Why green?
Do you not see what I'm coloring here? Sam I Amber?
Oh, boo. I groan aloud at her awful joke. I'm saved from more of them by the arrival of the same waitress who greets us. Her white uniform is stained with jelly and ketchup and who knows what else.
Can I get you girls something to drink?
I'll have some chocolate milk, please.
Her already questionable maturity suffers another blow. With the crayons in her hand, I'm not sure it can stand anymore to take any more hits. Okay, first of all, Amber, Mrs. I only drink coffee black. Chocolate milk is awesome, all right? It's, again, like timeless and ageless. Chocolate milk. Everybody loves chocolate milk, okay? No matter what age you are, that's always appropriate.
And for you?
Just coffee. No cream or sugar.
Give it to me as mean and like crotchety as possible.
You got it.
Once she walks away, I nudge Marina with my foot.
Chocolate milk? Seriously? Are you 8?
She is a wise lady, Amber. Mimicking my voice, Marina shakes her shoulders.
Black coffee? Seriously? Are you 40?
Got him.
Hey now, I like the taste of coffee itself.
And I like the taste of milk itself, just with chocolate.
And what's wrong with that?
You're a dork.
But you love me.
She chimes back in a sing-song voice. I know what she means, but it still causes a small lump to form in my throat. I swallow, trying to pretend that she didn't hit a little too close to home. I watch her while she goes back to coloring human breakfast hybrids. Her lips are pursed in concentration, and there's a little gleam of white as she bites the edge of one. Seems she's really focused. Surprisingly, she mostly manages to stay inside the lines of the pictures. Rather than trying to use the dull tips, she switched to the flat round ends, using the edge for more precision. It's kind of working. Without looking up, she starts to chat again.
So, where do we start looking today, Captain?
Oh, you finally acknowledge me as captain then, huh?
I figured you deserve a turn. Just this once.
That's right, sharing is caring.
Thanks. I'll try not to let you down. Anyway, I have no idea.
You said you think it's by one of the arches, right?
Yeah, how many arches could there be?
Well, yeah, but that doesn't really narrow it down.
Isn't there like 1,000 arches or something there? I mean, again, I've never been in arches. I've only passed by it like 95,000 times, so, you know. Pausing her coloring, she looks up at me.
It doesn't?
Nah. Have you ever seen any pictures of the park?
A couple, I guess. I don't know much about it, though.
Well, they named the park after the arches since there were so many of them. Probably hundreds.
There you go, hundreds. There you go.
Seriously?
Yeah, some are more famous than others. Let's see. There's Windstone Arch and Double Arch. Those are some of the more famous ones. You've probably seen pictures of those, even if you don't know it. But there are a ton of lesser-known ones, too. And for all we know, the treasure could be at one of them that doesn't even have a name.
Especially because at the time, it was just like a frontier or whatever, right? Like, so it's not like it was named. He wasn't going to Arches National Park. It was just, hey, look, some pretty arches or whatever. So it's not like he knows he stashed him a fancy one. I mean, it could be a nameless one.
So we're screwed.
Probably.
Probably.
Ah, look.
But that doesn't mean we're giving up.
See, what did I just say? Marina nods in satisfaction, either at my words or the slice of blue ham she's just finished coloring.
I don't want to lose twice in a row, so I figure we'll go and look around and see if there are any clues. Maybe watch what other people are doing and thinking.
Marina nods along, but she has zoned out. She has that zoned out look that tells me she's not really listening. Rather, she seems to be staring past me. I turn, trying to figure out what might be attracting her attention. There's nothing except for other groups eating. I make awkward eye contact with the old lady right behind us, and I quickly face forward.
Hello? Inspecting the walls?
My words seem to break the spell.
Huh?
You totally spaced out there.
Oops, yeah. Sorry, I just started thinking.
Before I can ask her what about, our waitress returns. Our drinks are balanced on a tray alongside a few other guests. Marina's chocolate milk comes in an enormous tin cup that's the size of my forearm, and there's an entire pot of coffee for me. She sits them down on the table between us.
You girls ready to order?
Whoops, I haven't even looked through the menu once. I flipped through it real quick, settling on a standard meal.
You good?
Marina nods.
I'll have the gentleman's breakfast with bacon, eggs over medium, and sourdough toast.
Ugh, sourdough. I've tried sourdough a couple times. If memory serves, it doesn't really taste that good, at least, to me.
And for you?
I'll have the chocolate chip pancake platter with scrambled eggs.
Atta girl.
You want the kids' meal or the regular?
Got him. I choke on my drink as I laugh and feel Marina's foot crash against my leg. Whimpering at that and the dribble of coffee on my chin, I massage my shin under the table. Marina frowns at me and the waitress gives me a strange look. Then the typical angelic expression returns as Marina places her order.
The regular, please and thanks.
We'll have that out for you pretty soon.
Once again, she heads back to the kitchen, heels clicking against the tile floor. When she's out of sight, Marina begins a flurry of kicks to my shins, though these ones aren't hard enough to hurt. Scurrying backwards in my seat, I draw my legs up closer to me.
Rude.
I like how she laughed so hard. Like, I wonder if that waitress knew. Like, did she know that her timing was impeccable?
Come on. You were asking for it with the food and the milk. The waitress asking that was just the icing on the cake. The pancake.
Boo.
It's not my fault you sophisticated adults don't appreciate chocolate like I do.
Or decide that fun is for children or something.
You have a bigger sweet tooth than anyone I've ever met. Seriously, how many cavities have you had?
Obviously, I'm with Marina on this one, that like, just because you're old doesn't mean you have to be crotchety and boring, alright? But, I will say this, I don't actually have that massive of a sweet tooth. Chocolate chip waffles and like pancakes are pretty common in my family. Like the rest of my family's all about it, except for my dad and me for the most part. But I would always take like pancakes or waffles plain or like blueberry, but preferably plain over chocolate chip ones. Just like, maybe it's just me, but I don't have that massive of a sweet tooth.
None. I brush my teeth twice a day, every day. The last time I went to the dentist, he said my teeth were so shiny he could see his reflection in them.
That's a good thing coming from a dentist.
And when was that?
She thinks about it for a minute.
Maybe 3 years?
That doesn't count anymore then.
When was the last time you had chocolate milk?
Now that I have to think about it, I don't drink a whole lot of milk to begin with, and it's for chocolate.
Maybe when I was a little kid? I don't know.
That's why she's dead inside. That's why she's no fun.
Amber, you poor thing.
She slides her giant cup towards me, some sloshing over the sides in her haste.
Try it.
Dredges of milk surround the rim of the cup from Marina's sipping. Across from me, she waits, looking eager. I'm surprised she's not bouncing like normal. After sighing exaggeratedly, I pick up the cup and down a large gulp, trying not to think silly cliche thoughts about indirect kisses. Ha, lols. To my surprise, the drink is really good. It's got a deeper, rich flavor than the stuff you might get in jugs at the store. I could tell that they made it themselves in the kitchen. It's not overwhelmingly sweet. In fact, it's perfect. I know! It's like, I told you, it's because you're like boring, man. Damn, I don't know if I'm disappointed or not. Giving her the satisfaction of being right, my pride aches. As I push the cup back towards Marina, she receives it with a sly smirk.
So?
She draws out the word, already knowing my answer.
It wasn't bad.
That's all I'm willing to concede. She laughs and takes another huge sip. After setting the cup down, she has a thick milk mustache on her upper lip. I watch with inappropriate fascination as her tongue comes out and cleans it away. Amber, please. There's children present. Marina grabs the grabs the sheet she was coloring and then pushes that over to me as well.
Wanna color something? While you're acting like a kid and all.
I know, while you're giving in, deciding that happiness is for adults too sometimes. I roll my eyes, but snatch away the crowns that she offers. Most of the pictures, all of them breakfast foods with faces and dated outfits, have already been colored in. There's a stylish looking piece of bread with a dress and a wig that's still blank though. I color the dress with the green crayon as lightly as I can and use the lighter shade of red for the hair. When I'm done, I hold up the page to show Maria.
It's you.
She leans in.
Huh?
The colors. Look, you're toast.
She collapses backwards as if my pun physically wounded her. She shakes her head and looks down while I crack up.
That was even worse than Sam I Am.
It was far less creative, I'll tell you that.
Uh-huh. You better step up your game some. Please, stop.
I know, let me die. I don't plan to. The only thing that saves her is the arrival of our waitress right then. That's pretty fast service, considering how busy this place is. Keeping in style with our oversized beverages, the portions are enormous. The plate that Marina's pancakes are shoved in are so large, it looks as if they could have been used as a shield back in medieval times. The pancakes form a tower that's probably half a foot tall. My own meal arrives on 4 separate plates, though they're all smaller than Marina's. We have to scramble and move our drinks around just to make room. There's hardly any empty space. That is so accurate. Like, no matter where you go, like for like restaurants or sit-down places, or whether it's just like 2 of you or if there's like 8 of you, like anytime you go to these places, big places where things come in portions, it always fills up the whole table so that everyone is struggling for space all the time. And it's like I don't know how you solve that, because, you know, if you make the tables too big, then you don't have as many tables. But, so, you know, so I see, like, from a restaurant perspective how that would be hard. But that's always true, though. Every time you go in, it's completely full. Every time.
Can I get you girls anything else?
Marina shakes her head, but I look down at the table as I mumble.
Can I get a glass of chocolate milk, please?
As the waitress departs yet again, I glance over, prepared for the inevitable teasing, but instead, Marina just stares at her food dumbstruck.
Maybe I should have gotten the kid size.
It's fine. It's fine. Eat it like you mean it. Alright, well, I think that time-wise, we are there, so let's go ahead and give it a save. Boop. Lovely. Lovely. Alright, well, I think that is where we are going to call this one. When we come back, we'll be pressing on after these guys' meal, and they'll be complaining because they're big sissies. Anyway. But yeah, we'll come back. We'll keep looking for treasure. It'll be sweet. And right after this, despite how late it is, I will probably be recording Fallout, unless of course in the next 10 minutes I have some sort of flash of irresponsibility. And regardless though, but tomorrow should be normal. I have a few obligations when I first wake up that I have to get done, but I'm still pretty confident that I'll be able to record anyway. So I think that should be fine. But anyway, other than that, though, that is going to call for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and we will talk to you guys later.